Welcome back, everyone. My name is Eltamar, and we're going to be continuing our Let's Play of Rogue Trader. Where we left last time, we killed a Chaos spawn. That was interesting. He definitely smacked around our gunner, Argenta, so yeah, that was the thing. There's bridge officers around.
He's dead. He sacrificed himself to save the entire dynasty.
A noble deed.
I know, I guess.
Let the crew offer prayers for the hero who renounced his impure life in the name of humanity.
I'm just gonna look over here real quick. I don't think we can go this way, so...
I won't tolerate weakness.
I think we just gotta go for the... Master Navigator up here. Or Helmsman. I don't think that he actually sacrificed himself for the good of the ship, though. He became a Chaos... Chaos spawn and attacked us, so... He also didn't get anything accomplished by doing so. Plus, to Master Helmsman and Rabor.
Master Helmsman, system status report.
By the Emperor, it's the Seneschal, living and breathing. Oh, well, there's a tricky question. The old place is so overgrown with foul wickedry, we'll be scrubbing it off the vid screens for throne knows how long.
The white-haired man with sickly pale skin salutes us. We need to re-establish contact with the Navigator's Sanctum. It's our only chance of escaping from the warp. Your words seem to knock the officers out of their stupor, and the air around you fills with voices and commands being issued. You hear someone sobbing, one of the survivors buckling under the stress. Abelard cuffs the crying officer without even looking.
Restore the Fox channel to the Navigator's Sanctum. Ready the crew. Prepare for translation to real space. You may call me superstitious, but translation is not a good time to disregard rules. You are the only one who speaks for House von Valancius. You may not be the Lord Captain, but you, more than anyone else, deserve to take her place in the ritual that is about to commence.
Abelard pauses for a few seconds before turning to us. He directs our attention upward to the throne that sits at the apex of the tall staircase. What must I do?
Take the Lord Captain's seat. Order the final preparations. Wait for the officers to report. Oh, blast it all to the void! Translation is a craft, not something that can be explained in a tick. Just go up to the throne, Master. These people are about to do the impossible. The least they deserve is the solace of seeing a figure sitting in the usual spot. Oh, please, hurry. Every second we waste is a terrible risk.
How did you people survive in here?
Must have been Providence. It better have been the Emperor's, not someone else's. When they barged in here, the ones with the Master of Whispers, some officers charged them, but it wasn't even a fight. I grabbed whoever I could and dragged them behind the cogitators. Then, I prayed for our rescue.
The man glances around the bridge. Alright, I'm ready to begin the ritual. Take the Lord Captain's place. Alright. I guess we're walking there very slowly. That is a cool looking throne, I gotta say. The image before you is hazy, swaying in sorcerous currents invisible to the mortal eyes, as if whatever is beneath this thin shell is constantly changing while still remaining the same. It's taken on the guise of Theodora, but the false rogue trader's eyes reveal the entity's true, surreal nature. One of Theodora's eyes is engulfed in otherworldly fire, the other, a vessel of ancient evil, bores into you. A voice seeps directly into your brain without ever reaching your ears, and this voice booms with all the horrors of the work.
Did you stand in the path of another's destiny only to steal it? You accepted the call of the primordial truth and claimed that fate as your own. So be it. I wove the threads of destiny and held out my hand to you when the flame arose in your path. You took it, and in doing so, sealed your fate. In the future, you will repay me for this boon in full.
We struck a deal or we struck a deal with the warp spawn when it offered to lead us out of the trap on the officer's deck. That is true. It resonates and merges with the voices that have already dug their foul roots in your consciousness. A moment later you realize that all these voices are the myriad manifestations of the same call that has finally invaded your mind. What do you want with me?
The aspirant vowed to return with a trophy, a relic that could serve the edge of daybreak. That fate was assured, and the steps chosen. And yet, you broke the unbreakable when you took the aspirant's place. I see you. On the day when the final dawn rises over the Iron World, I see you by my side on that day. The day of my resurrection.
Your head begins to spin, and viscous drops slither down your cheeks. You blink and you're no longer looking at Theodora. It is the traitor Woodward, just as fluid and ephemeral as the previous apparition. The same terrifying voice seethes from his lips.
Your image is woven into the tapestry of things to come. I am the will of the weaver of destinies, and today I will weave a new thread of elusive possibilities and fickle chances. The thread that will lead you out of the maw of irreversibility. The thread that will help you find the keys to salvation. The thread that will guide you and the weapon of our return to me.
The image is scattered by invisible sorceress winds. You see Adira, her eyes aglow with the same sinister flame.
The path is set, child of the dawn. The thread is woven. Follow it, servant of mine.
A cavalcade of hazy glimpses of a future yet unknown passes before your eyes. A flash of crimson, purple, the images replace one another in a violent kaleidoscope without ever letting you get a proper look at them. Through the rippling mirage, you see a twisted image of Abelard, the loyal seneschal of the dynasty.
Seneschal, the navigator's sanctum is silent. The Vox signal is stable, which means...
Revor turns around and looks up at us. He hesitates for a few moments, then addresses Abelard, who's standing next to us.
The navigator gave his life battling the storm that nearly claimed the Von Valancius flagship. We will honor his memory, along with that of all who died this day.
Abelard nods absent-mindedly.
Seneschal, will you tell us now? Who is that? Where's the Lord Captain?
Revor does not look away. He's giving us a hard stare, his white brows furrowed.
As First Officer, it is my duty to inform you, with the greatest regret and indelible sorrow, that Lord Captain Theodora von Valancius is dead. May her memory never fade from the annals of the dynasty.
It takes time for Abelard to respond. You watch as he grits his teeth, unable to bring himself to say anything. Finally, he adjusts his blood-stained coat, straightens and begins to speak.
By right of blood succession, and with the absence of other kin who could challenge this decision.
After waiting out the first wave of shocked cries, Abelard glances at you and continues. Say nothing.
It is hereby declared that the successor to Theodora von Valancius is her heir, the rightful inheritor of the warrant of trade, and the title of Rogue Trader. The official ascension ceremony will be held at a later time. In the interim... have you lost your tongues? Hail your lord. It is because of his toils that we all still live.
Abelard stops short and glares fiercely at the confused officers.
The deed is done, Master. My apologies. I meant to say Lord Captain.
The Seneschal turns to us. He looks at least half a decade older.
The treachery of the Master of Whispers was fruitless, but victory came at a great cost. Lord Captain Theodora von Valancius perished along with her heir, Edelthrad, and thousands of crew members. Yet hope remained. For the second second in line to the rogue trader dynasty survived. At the cost of many sacrifices made by the Lord Captain in the name of his own ambitions.
Alright, well, we have our own ship now. We're leading the dynasty. Oh, apparently we're still on our throne. I'm surprised there's no voice acting here. Okay, well then, your lordship. Deep shadows of weariness can be seen on Abelard's face, though the old officer's eyes are keen. They rake over you from head to toe. He frowns, mutters something, and then nods to himself. You cannot help but notice the Seneschal does not know how to talk to you or where to begin. His hesitation brings an involuntary smirk to your face, as though someone else entirely is gloating at the old officer's confusion. Seeing your smile, Abelard pulls himself together. You were wounded by the corrupted weapon, which led to a warp entity invading your mind. You must now hold your first officer's briefing in your new role as Lord Captain. For many of those who are about to join us on the bridge, this will also be their first briefing. We sustained massive losses among the senior and middle-ranking officers. Some posts have had to be filled by the deputy, while others go unfulfilled entirely. And now the deck clans are deciding who will take over the leaderless crews. How did we come to lose so many officers? It appears the heretics were deliberately targeting the vessel's command. They knew exactly whom they were looking for and where they could be found, which is unsurprising given that their informant on board was our own Master of Whispers. Abelard grimaces. What's on the agenda for this meeting? Reports on the condition of the ship and crew. The Lord Captain is not usually drawn away from her important affairs to attend such routine briefings, but this is a unique situation. I'm still receiving updates from across the ship, and they are not encouraging. Getting this bird to fly could take gargantuan effort, even so far as you personally negotiating with the authorities of the system we are currently in. So prepare to hear a bevy of complaints and excuses, your lordship. Take this opportunity to get a good look at the officers who work 6 decks away from the bridge, and they in turn will have the honor of beholding the visage of their Lord Captain. Have you succeeded in tracking down Voidveer? Abelard grits his teeth. No, Lord Captain. In all the commotion, his trail went cold. Our people are still on the hunt for him, but any mutineers who may still be skulking in the ship's many corridors. But frankly, I would not be surprised to hear that we are now 1 shuttle short. I'm afraid that it'll be some time before he answers for all he has wrought. I do want to be the rogue trader. I'm not going to do number 3. I'm ready to start the briefing. Summon the officers. With a gesture, Abelard relays the order to the adjutants at the far end of the magnificent chamber. A dozen pairs of eyes bore into us, the expressions revealing restraint, joy, curiosity, and wariness. Attention officers, you've been granted an honor. Lord Captain Eltimar von Valencius will personally conduct today's briefing. Our most gracious Lord Captain is ready to hear your reports. Perhaps you would introduce those present, Abelard. As you wish, your lordship. Abelard points to a tall, slender woman whose body seems to contain as many implants as it does flesh. Vigdis Suriota of the Tolaman line, our new Voxmaster. It is an honor to serve your lordship, the Voxmaster offers a deep bow. Aboard this vessel, you have at your command thousands of crew members and hundreds of officers and section chiefs. I am responsible for receiving, processing, and sending all communications between you and them, as well as external sources. I am your eyes and mouth, Lord Captain. Beside her is Ravor, the Master Helmsman. He steers our ship along the course set by the Lord Captain and monitors the void around us to ensure that we do not stray into an asteroid field or pirate trap. The bearded man with a pale, almost transparent skin, large dark circles under his eyes, and a dour expression that seems hardwired to his face gives a sullen nod. Hey, Lord Captain. This here ship's as good as home to me, so rest assured she's in safe hands. I'll die before I let her come to any grief. And lastly, our high factotum, Generous Danarok, who oversees supplies, procurement, and the general material well-being of the ship. Dressed in an embroidered jacket, the heavyset man with oiled hair offers an obsequious smile and bows. It's an honor, your lordship. You may trust me with all matters concerning your comfort, and everything will be done to the highest standard. In the second row, we have the 3 officers charged with overseeing the ship's vital functions. Master of Ordnance is responsible for the artillery aboard, the Infernus Master, whose crews work to prevent and extinguish fires on the ship, and lastly, Drives Master, servant of the Omnissiah. The 3 officers salute you. The Infernus Master does so with confidence, while the Master of Ordnance betrays nervousness. The Drives Master offers a salute resembling a dance, involving the complicated manipulation of all the tech priests' mechadendrites. Is that everyone? Unfortunately, our choir master, the esteemed Zachary Wise, head of the Astropath section, is unable to join us. He is in charge of communications with distant star systems. Master Wise has been in a trance for some time now, attempting to contact other planets in the Von Valencius Protectorate and inform them of Lady Theodora's passing and Conrad Votvir's treachery. I will deliver a report to your lordship on the Astropath progress as soon as it's possible to do so. All others present are adjutants, secretaries, and deputies. They are here to make record of proceedings. I wish to hear the Infernus Master's report. Yes, Lord Captain. The tall young man bows his head in deference. I can report that all fires across all decks have now been extinguished. The preliminary damage assessment in terms of material losses and crew casualties has been completed. The results have been submitted to the Seneschal and the High Factotum. The post were passed to him after the previous Infernus Master and his next 3 deputies expired in the line of duty. Abelard remarks in a low voice, pitched for your ears only. The lad is managing well so far. You can take the heat, so to speak. High Factotum, what do you got? We're toiling day and night to complete a full account of the losses. Actually, this is the other voice, the sleazier voice. We are toiling day and night to compile a full account of the losses. The task will require next to no involvement from your lordship. I will personally ensure all damaged components are given to the Tech Priest's hands for attention, and that all lost supplies are replaced. There is only one resource that I cannot replenish single-handedly, and that is people. We have lost more than 2,000 crew members, and, unfortunately, this number is not confined to the scum from the lower decks, which are easily replaced, but also includes trained professionals. We will be able to make up our losses on the nearest planet, Rykad Minoris. However, the planet, the whole system in fact, belongs to the Winterscale rogue trader dynasty. We cannot simply begin recruiting on the planet without first coming to an understanding with the governor. In that respect, I am powerless. Negotiations at this level are a matter for the rogue trader. Especially true given Caligos Winterscale's penchant for attacking first and asking questions later, and the kind of thick-skulled thugs he usually installs as his governors on his planets, grumbles Abelard, frowning. Drive Master, what you got going on? A voice distorted by a Vox retranslator emerges from under the Tech Priest's scarlet hood. Lord Captain, foes that set upon this noble void ship destroyed the repositories of hundreds of machine spirits. The great warp engine entrusted into my charge is unharmed, thank the Omnissiah, but its spirit mourns its dead brethren. We have not yet identified a prayer protocol capable of assuaging its sorrow and anger. With great sorrow, I also must report that the Engineer Prime, overseer and spiritual authority of all tech priests on board, fell in battle. The Magos was betrayed, Magos was betrayed by the little flesh that remained part of him. A most terrible loss. There is no one among my comrades aboard whose experience and comprehension of the sacred protocols equals that of the fallen Magos. We require a replacement as soon as possible. Would someone care to translate the esteemed Drives Master's words? The ship's most senior tech priest, the most senior both in rank and experience, is dead. If we don't find a replacement, we will be unable to resolve the problems with the warp engine, answers the Vox Master instantly without even thinking. This is not the first time she has acted as an interpreter between the ship's various inhabitants. Helmsman, fire away. Right you are, Lord Captain. To cut a long story short, the outlook is bleak. The ship's sound, more or less, but without our Engineer Prime and Navigator, who fell in battle, we have no way out of the system. If we try to set up so much as a toe inside the warp, I don't know what will happen first, our warp drive being torn to pieces, or all of us melting into the bulkheads. Your Lordship, if you'll allow me to interject, this is a different person. Your Lordship, if you'll allow me to interject, when we arrived in the system, my crew followed standard protocols and conducted a count of all the communication channels in the region. One of them was a Navis Nobilite station. The station maintains a complete Vox silence, but even its presence here inspires hope. To have located a navigator in the very same system is an incredible stroke of luck, a true blessing from the God Emperor. A sharp bolt of pain lances through your skull as if in response to what you just heard. You understand that it is not the God Emperor you should thank for such good fortune. The words of the daemon that appeared before you during the translation to real space echo in your mind. I am the will of the Weaver of Destinies, and today I will weave a new thread of elusive possibilities and fickle chances. The thread that will lead you out of the maw of irreversibility. The thread that will help you find the keys to salvation. If I were you, I'd grab this chance with both hands, or else you'll be eyeing up asteroids to use as your new residence. In slightly less shitty news, we can go round and round the system till our heads are swimming, as long as the promethium and supplies last. And if any thick as grok shit lowlives come sniffing around, we'll be able to take them out, so don't you worry on that score. Ordnance, what you got? The Master of Ordnance gives you a gloomy look. No, my job's simple. Maintain the arsenal and fire where I'm told, but just ask anyone. We've got no able crew. No Lord Captain. Master of Ordnance, you forget yourself. The Master of Ordnance chokes back his words that he was obviously about to blurt out without thinking. He casts another look at you before lowering his gaze. I apologize profusely, Lord Captain. Pardon the fool. The ship is in ruins, every other officer is dead, and the Lord Captain is no longer with us. Fear has taken hold of me. He looks up at us. But I have heard of you. Oh yes, your fame has reached even as far as the Expanse. I can't be showing myself up in front of an illustrious person such as yourself. He adjusts his uniform and stands ramrod straight. Master of Ordnance can report that the rest of the arsenal has been saved and the battery is in good order. We are ready to fight, if that is the Lord Captain's will. So to summarize, we've sustained serious losses in crews, and we require a new engine seer prime and navigator. Is this all that is preventing us from continuing the voyage? Precisely, Lord Captain, but bear in mind this will not be the end of our trials. The ship's systems must be properly inspected for major damage, which can only be carried out at a footfall station, home to the only dockyard in the sector. But we will never reach Footfall without first solving these 3 immediate problems. What can you tell me about the system in which we currently find ourselves? I cede to the Voxmaster on this point. Mistress Tulliman? We are in the Rykad star system, and our voyage here was undertaken on the orders of your lordship's predecessor. There are 3 inhabited bodies in this system, and our attempts to send Vox messages have produced confounding results. The Navis Nobilite station has not simply failed to answer, it seems to be maintaining total Vox silence. However, we did receive a distress signal from the prison planetoid in the system, and Rykad Minoris itself is also not responding to our hails, but what is most alarming is that our augurs have intercepted signals from the surface that seem to indicate ongoing hostilities on the planet. The situation is not very encouraging, but without a navigator, a tech priest, and new crew members, we won't be able to travel anywhere. Therefore, we must go to the planet and the Navis Nobilite station and find out what in the void is going on. Thanks, dismissed. The assembled officers salute you as one. Your lordship, there's one other thing, a confidential matter of the utmost importance. Lady Theodora, Abelard hesitates, your eternally esteemed predecessor, brought the ship here to the system for a reason. She was given a secret commission. You perhaps are wondering who has the authority to commission a rogue trader to do anything, and I shall tell you, the Lord Inquisitor, the hand of the Emperor, the chief architect of his will in the Cronus Expanse. I came across this strange handwritten letter in Theodora's desk. It was signed XC. You are referring to the contents of that note, I presume. Yes, quite right, XC. Xavier Calcazar. Lady Theodora was to seek out the Lord Inquisitor's right-hand man, one Heinrichs von Kellox. An interrogator, you understand. All I know is he is somewhere in the system and we must find him and offer him whatever assistance he requires, and then deliver him to Footfall in the Furibundus system. Finding him, without any more information to go on, will be difficult indeed, but Inquisitor is an important individual. The authorities in the system, either in Navis Nobilite or the governor of Rykad Minoris, may know something. That is all of it, your lordship. You have a great deal of work ahead of you, but it is a mere taste of the daily burden of a rogue trader. Soon you must take up the reins of the Von Valencius Protectorate. He gives us another scrutinizing look, as if trying to gauge how long I will hold out under this mountain of problems. His face softens slightly, and he seems like he's about to offer some words of encouragement. But somebody's coming now. What's going on? Adira, Sister Argenta, explain yourselves. The Sister of Battle grimly nods towards Adira. The Psyker is suffering some ailment or dark madness. She insisted on seeing the rogue trader. I judged that it would be unwise to leave her unsupervised. For a brief moment, Sister Argenta's voice sounds hesitant. I was also hoping to approach you with a personal request, but it can wait. Speak with me when you have the time, rogue trader. Adira's glazed eyes rove over those assembled. One word bursts from her lips. Daybreak. Adira, come to your senses. Damn it, Adira presses her fingers to her temples in desperation. Your lordship, here's the thing. I was trying to see the immediate future and it hit me so hard my head is still spinning. Something very strange is heading our way and I can't make out what it is no matter how hard I try. A single word is all I can make out. Daybreak, or maybe it's dawn, and it's ringing and ringing like an echo, like a bell. But if it's daybreak, then why is it so dark? We cannot extract any information of value from a single word. Can you tell us anything else, Mistress Class? No, not yet anyways. The voices are going berserk, all shouting at once. I can't make sense of it. As soon as I know something or anything, as soon as I know or sense anything, I'll report it, alright? Lord Captain, if you want me to take a closer look into your future, find me on the bridge and we can talk. Lady Theodora was well served by my whispers on many occasions, and I'm sure you'd benefit from them as well. The Psyker's bitten lips stretched into a wry smile. Well, if there's nothing else of value to report, I declare this briefing concluded. Time to get to work. Alrighty, so use the system map in the center of the bridge to issue orders to the crew. And the manufactorium is working properly, I guess. Let's just try and talk to some people. What do you got to say for yourself? A thin, pale woman stands out among the rest of the crew. There is a thick bundle of cables coming out the back of her skull and disappearing under her ceremonial garment, and you see the grate of a quietly humming vox where her mouth should be. The woman sees you and bows her head in respectful greeting. How may I serve you, Lord Captain? Connect me to the vessel's main channel. I wish to bolster the morale of my crew. We did it. The Voxmaster nods obediently and presses several switches on the device she's holding. You address the crew with a rousing speech and hear your voice roll through the ship, reaching even the normally quiet corners of the vessel. When the broadcast ends, you hear distant shouts of approval. Okay, let's leave her for now. Let's talk to other people. Who else is around that we can talk to? There's Voidsman at Arms. That's to our quarters. Let's go to our quarters first. Let's go take a look at our room. Wow, it's all very fancy. This is where we found her dead moments ago. There's a personal cogitator there and our ancestral records, but also a vault. What do we have in here? Oh, there's things in here. We can store things in the vault if we want to, I guess. There's nothing inside of it. I was wrong. That's just things that we have on our person. Okay, let's check out these records. Shrine of Remembrance. I'm guessing these are probably Kickstarter people, or something along those lines. The light glinting off the polished skull of some unknown Xenos makes it seem like the bony face is mocking you. The bookshelves are packed with ancient books, piles of papers, and tomes, many of which look rather worn. Of course, the organ that hasn't been played in a while. The weird crystal, we saw that earlier. It's the same thing as last time. I'm just seeing if there's anything new. Liturgies of the Unfaithful to His Word and Name. The text below this solemn heading looks noticeably faded. It appears that the prayer book has been kept open on this page for a very long time. This fine sculpture made from a strange metal seems to absorb any rays of light that fall upon it. The glinting of the displayed weapons is mesmerizing. You've never seen many of these articles before. Why can't we use them? The positions of these pieces on this board suggest this game of regicide was interrupted. The winner was never determined. It's like a weird version of chess. Kinda. We have a bedroom over here, and there are goods in here that we haven't picked up. Let's find out what they are. So we got cracked data slate. The final transactions with the Chartist are complete. The Fire Reckoning is now fully equipped. The object has been loaded aboard with its containment tech and placed in the forebay to ensure maximum contact with the target. Coordinates sent and received by the bridge. Target's estimation of time of arrival in the system. Fire Reckoning is crewed by a servitor hive. Chances of ship returning are minimal. Interesting. More stuff. Unfinished letter. His chagrin is irrelevant. Voigtbeer's mistake cost me too much. Years of work, tremendous resources, all wasted. He has failed at what he was supposed to be. Irreproachable at uncovering spies. And this one was a senior officer. I'm not about to discard him. Conrad has served me for too long for his removal to go painlessly for the Protectorate. Besides, he's no fool. He could not have seriously expected to become the next in the Von Valencius line when his skills and talents as Master of Whispers are so valuable. Let his disinheritance serve as a humiliating but instructive lesson, which he may yet learn. I see. Beyond the stained glass, the distant stars glimmer in the darkness of endless space, filling you with an odd sense of dread. Another door. Another room. This is where we this is where we teleported upstairs. I see. Okay. This is where we came in. Then we walked out into this hallway. What is that? The long dead eyes of this fierce monster forever capture the fear and pain of its final moments. Alright, looks like we're done in here, I guess. Interesting little chamber. Nothing really going on here. This majestic portrait painted by a skilled artist greets guests who have been granted permission to enter the Lord Captain's quarters. Hefty tome contains the schematics of the flagship of House von Valancius, in addition to a plethora of notes, copies of reports, and other documents. Alright, back to the bridge we go, I guess. It's nice that they've got this place all cleaned up. Not fully, but mostly. It's down this way. Anyone notable, I guess? Bridge officers. There's technomats down there. Argenta's over there. I guess she wanted to talk to us about something, so let's do that.
Rogue trader.
Sister Argenta looks tired. There are dark circles under her eyes. Her hair is somewhat disheveled, and he moves like she's a little on edge. You said you had a personal request for me.
I indeed have a request, Rogue trader.
No? Okay. The accursed servants of chaos who assaulted this ship took the lives of your loyal crew members, and they orphaned many children, including the progeny of the brave officers who defended their posts until the bitter end. I don't know what customary practices there are for cases like this in von Valancius territory, but in the world I'm familiar with, the children of such brave souls could expect to receive some special consideration. Perhaps the rogue trader could meet with the orphans. Well, we're being evil in this one. Why would I? Do you wish to fill these children's heads with the illusion that the world and its rulers care about them? I will have no part in this. Actually, what good would meeting them do? These children are the future of your crew. One day, they too will have to stand against evil and heresy as their parents did. By meeting them, by speaking the right words to them, you will honor the memory of the fallen heroes and light the way to heroes in making. They will always remember the day they met the rogue trader. Besides, it'll bolster the orphan spirits and help them recover from their loss, which can be hard for somebody so young. No, I'm gonna do the why would I thing. So that's how you see it. Argenta's tone betrays her fury before she regains her composure. My apologies, rogue trader. I won't trouble you with requests of this nature again. That's right, you won't. Orphans, please. I'm not going to talk to Abelard yet. Let's talk to Adira. The tall, middle-aged woman stares straight ahead, her eyes vacant as she rubs the implant at her temple. Her collar is undone, and one of the clasps is on the verge of falling off. Sensing her presence, she turns towards us and offers us a crooked smile, even as her eyes look right through us. About your abilities.
What are you talking about, Lord Captain?
With noticeable effort, Adira focuses her eyes on us. She lets out a nervous laugh. You are a psyker. Psykers are only granted the right to live with the Emperor's blessing. Have you ever been to Terra?
Look, Lady Theodora couldn't care less if some eggheads measured my brains or not. It's not about the seal on your forehead, get it? It's about what's in your gut, if it's rotten or not. My gut's stronger than the adamantine on this here ship. And my implants are better than the ones they put in you on your Terra. If they weren't, I wouldn't have lived as long as I have.
She says nothing for a few seconds, then exaggeratedly rolls her eyes. She bares her teeth in a savage grin, a febrile gleam in her eye. I like to hear your augury, Adira. What awaits me in the future?
All right, let's hear what they're whispering about you.
She laughs, rubbing her hands together, and suddenly freezes with a vacant smile on her face, her head slightly tilted. You feel goosebumps appear on your skin, and your collar begins to waver ever so slightly as if moved by a breeze from a half-open door.
Seek not on firm ground, but in a golden hall suspended in the void. There waits a child without kin, but with a name blind to truth. She draws the brush across the canvas and does not notice that her palette is full not of paint, but of blood. And with each smear, this well does not deplete, but fills and fills up to the brim. One thing is clear. When this vessel overflows, none will remain unstained. Among the blind men and false prophets, a red-robed sage seeks the answer to a question. He does not know that it is not the answer he must seek, but the question that will draw everything into focus. Will you help him, rogue trader? But mark that sometimes ignorance is sweeter than oblivion. A chained hound chases after glimmers of the aurora, but sparks in the scent of oil confound his nose. A chain trails after him. What will happen if you pick it up? Will you become his master, or merely another beast in the pack of his true lord? The glow of dawn bursts forth from its prison. Dungeon walls cannot contain the dark essence wallowing in the dust. A naive cub pushes his nose into a familiar hand, one that holds death in twisted glass. Cherish it or cast it off as a burden. The sword of change has already been raised. What is one more life to it? I'm sorry, Lord Captain. The voices are going wild. I can't make out a thing. I'll try to rein them in, somehow. But for now...
Adira strains to listen, then frowns and shakes her head. The psyker shrugs sheepishly and sniffs. Alright, we'll talk to her more about other stuff later. So those are probably some of the characters we can pick up, the NPCs, playable NPCs that we can get in the game. Let's try the Corona Expanse map. Let's take a look at this. The events of Warhammer 40k take place in a vast region of space known as the Corona Expanse. It's composed of numerous star systems, many of which we'll get a chance to visit. We'll scour the void in search of routes leading to new uncharted systems, discovering new routes, etc. Okay. So we can go to different places. That's an unidentified void ship. That must be our ship right there. Rykad Majoris is there. This is Uric 4 unexplored. The guide is there. This is the prison planetoid. Oh, that's Rykad Majoris. Sorry, not Minoris. New Blood, Spirit Machine and Spirit Keeper land on Rykad Minoris. This is the guide. What if we go there first? Yeah, this is Navis Noblate. Lord Captain reporting. The heralds of the Navis Noblate continue to maintain Vox silence. Perhaps due to Uric 5 being off limits to visitors, we intercepted signals from the beacons drifting in from the station's orbit. Demands are clear. We are told to turn the ship around immediately. We've also detected an accumulation of space debris near the station's docks. Presumably it's the remains of interplanetary shuttles. Perhaps the esteemed Navis Noblate house requires aid and therefore cannot respond to our Vox transmission. Turn back. Contact the station again. I will negotiate personally. Vox relays the cadent sound of grinding gears and clicking tumblers. I'm sorry, Lord Captain. The station does not reply, even after official greeting by a rogue trader and the declaration of your intent to negotiate in person. Scan the station. Yes, Lord Captain. The Vox remains silent for a while, but then you hear static and a big dismeasured voice. The officers from the Augur crew performed a full scan of the station, but the information is imprecise. They note wave distortions of uncleared genesis that are throwing off most of the readings. We were able to ascertain that the reactor core of the station is still active, but many compartments are unpowered, and some fully depressurized. The signs of biological activity are largely present in the central module, which means the station has not been abandoned. So the question remains, why are the esteemed navigators, heralds, ignoring us? Turn back? No one dares give me orders. No, Lord Captain, of course not. Order the crew to commence docking with the station. Affirmative, Lord Captain. We do not know what is happening at the station, so you'll have to look for the esteemed navigators blind. Dock safely, and may the God Emperor light your path. that's going to be our group, I guess. I wonder how many group members we have in total. I guess we'll find that out later. We're going to Uruk 5, but I think we're going to end the video here. We did quite a bit of stuff. We got out of the void. We took over the ship. We had a meeting with some officers. We talked to Adira and... why am I drawing a blank on the Sister of Battle's name? Oh, it's a bunch of people are dead. That's a very ruined looking place. That's a guard? Is he a good guard or a bad guard?
You dare to argue with your master?
It was not you whom I swore to serve within these walls. My lips are sealed.
Confess. What was the old man's last command? What are you planning?
Give up, Keeper. You have lost this battle. Again.
We're getting nowhere with these ones, sir. Permission to execute them.
Wretches, you will be consigned to oblivion for your transgressions against House Orselio. Immortal Emperor, deliver your servants from peril. Prayers will not help you, servant of the damned. In the name of House Orselio, I command you to execute the infidels. I feel like the shotgun was overkill. Not a step further. Master, we have some strange guests on the station. A tall man stops you with a gesture when you approach. Blood is trickling from the pearly scales of his wary face, and not just his own blood. Two jet-black, unblinking eyes are watching your every move, and the third one, mark of a navigator's fate, is menacingly pulsing behind the lowered lid in the middle of his forehead. Step back, or I shall unleash all the horrors of the Sea of Souls upon you. Emperor, be my witness. Keep talking to me this way, and I'll make you swallow your own tongue. You still dare insult me? The navigator raises his arms, preparing to open his third eye, but suddenly stops. Ah, but I do recognize this coat of arms. You are from the von Valencius dynasty. This explains a lot, more than you think. And since fate has brought such an important person into my abode, allow me to introduce myself. Before you stands Felix Christoph August, keeper of the station. So you did not come to offer support to the traitors. This is great news. Having said that, you must understand that Uruk 5 is a holy sanctum for House Orselio, and the path to it is only revealed to a select few. It pains me to say you are not on the guest list. Provide me with the navigator, and I will immediately depart the station. I do not think this is possible. Uruk 5 is an observation station. We do not sign contracts and we do not provide navigators. We delve into the depths of infinity and chart the movements of the warp storms. And besides, Felix gestures at the disorder around him. You have chosen an inopportune time for negotiations. I'm looking for the Lord Inquisitor's interrogator, one Heinrich von Calix. Do you know anything about his present location? The Lord Inquisitor's interrogator? I think I would know if such an important individual decided to pay us a visit. I came here in search of a navigator, so you are coming with me. Is that so? Even wounded Felix Orselio remains composed. I do not think so. You cannot force me. You can only end my life. But this is not your heart's desire, is it? Perhaps we can help one another and reach a more beneficial agreement. What's that? You came to the station for a reason. House Orselio will not be able to help you until the current crisis is resolved, but if you aid us now, I promise we'll reach an agreement that you will find satisfying. Be it riches, influence, or the power of our navigators. What's happening? Where did all these corpses come from? Betrayal, a most banal thing in the life of the nobilite, don't you think? I was stabbed in the back by my closest friend, Theobald Orselio, the second keeper of Uruk 5, and my mentor. On his instructions, my own people sabotaged the generators, blew up the shuttles, and brutally massacred the loyal servants of my mistress. Most unforgivably, they dared take her prisoner. Greedy scum. I swear by the throne's light, their souls will perish in the darkness of the void. Felix falls silent for a few moments, and then furiously slams the end of his staff into the floor. The madmen have captured Lady Cassia and are now torturing her upstairs while we are idly chatting down here. Help me rescue her or be gone, but waste no more of my precious time. What kind of help are you talking about? I would never ask you such a favor under different circumstances, and yet, he takes his hand away from his ribcage, notices blood and winces in pain. And yet, Lady Cassia's well-being is above all. I haven't got many people left, and my wounds are too deep for me to act with precision and swiftness, but you may actually succeed. In order to ascend to the mistress's chambers, you'll need to remake a holy relic, sanctified with the blood of Lady Orselio herself. This is the control rod of the elevator machine spirit. I have one part, and the other was lost during the mutiny, but even this relic will be of no use unless the elevator mechanism is powered. So how am I supposed to power the elevator? The station's main cogitator is situated in the guard room. Just enter the correct command sequence, and the sacred mechanism will do the rest. How do I remake the control rod? I have a phylactery containing the mistress's blood. It needs to be taken to the laboratory, which is located behind one of the reliquary doors. The most ancient of sacred mechanisms will help to rebuild the rod. The tech priest ceaselessly performed the rites of appeasement so that the machine spirit would serve the house in its time of need. The faithful hour is now upon us. If it's so simple, why don't you do it to yourself? I never said the feat would be easy to accomplish. The path to the laboratory and the guard room is blocked by the very same madmen who took over the station. They will not negotiate and are not afraid of displeasing the Navis Nobilite or incurring the Emperor's wrath. They bow only to brute strength, something which I currently happen to lack. I guess that makes sense. So what have you decided, descendant of the von Valencius line? We're going to be shrewd about this. I will rescue your mistress, but in return I require that House Orselio sign a contract with my protectorate. Felix's reply sounds curt and tired. So be it. Hurry, the mistress's safety is all that matters, but should you fail, our arrangement is finished. Alright, let's call it a video here. In the next video, we'll, I guess, figure out where to go to repower the elevator and go upstairs. For now, like always, if you have any suggestions or comments, please leave them below. Others, I'll see you next time. Take care.